Scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today with a 9x12 layout using some older papers and some scraps that I'm just trying to get rid of so I don't toss. This paper is from an older Cocoa Daisy collection. I believe the fall collection this year. I think the November collection, maybe October. I'm not sure. And this one is from an Echo Park line, I believe, called Adventure Awaits. And I loved the constellations, like they're monsters. And the photos that I'm scrapbooking are of Finn and Patrick playing World of Warcraft. So I thought that was an appropriate little paper for him to be playing World of Warcraft with. So I'm going to sort of center both of these photos in the middle. So what I end up doing is I actually make everything a bit off kilter, a bit like have a set on a fun angle, and then I'm going to rip it all up later when I decide that it just doesn't work for what I'm going for. So it ends up being all centered, a little bit on an angle still, but a little bit more centered down the line. But these two photos are going to stack up on top of each other, and then I have this sort of middle space for a title. So that's basically what I'm starting with, the idea that I'm starting with. So I'm going to start gluing everything down. So you can see I applied it not perfectly, just a little bit off kilter. And I'm going to do the same with these photos, just a little bit off. And I really like this concept and this idea to just have it a little bit wonky, but in the end, with the way that the page works out, it just doesn't work the way I want it to. So I've gone through some die cuts, some Echo Park, I believe, die cuts, and then also some older ones that I have. I just have like a bag full of boy die cuts, basically, from older lines that I go through. And I'm just trying to see what I want to use here. I have some chipboard as well. So these letters spell out play, and I thought maybe I wanted to use those. I struggle just a little bit with embellishments, which I always do when I'm not using a coordinated collection. Like if I have free reign and I can do whatever I want, it's just too much for me, and I struggle a little bit with how I want things to come together when I have too many options. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, is struggling just a little bit, trying to figure out where I want things to go. I wanted to use that chipboard banner that said Best Buddies. That was perfect. And I wanted to use the one that said Oh Boy as well, because I have a little bit of sarcasm when it comes to World of Warcraft. It's been a constant, not a struggle, but a give and take between Patrick and I our entire marriage. Mostly, not because I don't like him playing, but mostly because he will sign up, and this is a subscription-based game, so he will sign up for the subscription and then play it for a couple weeks, and then we will pay for the subscription on the game that he is not playing for months because he's forgotten to unsubscribe, or he has the intention to go back and play again and never does. So I have a little bit of sarcasm when it comes to World of Warcraft, so I added some sarcasm into this page as well. My title is going to be Oh Wow. Oh wow, because WoW is the shorthand for World of Warcraft, so it works perfectly both on the sarcasm front and on the actual what the page is about front. So I decided that that patterned paper plus the patterned multicolored letters was just way too much, and it was too much on the green patterned paper as well. So I have this like constellation paper, which is the back of a scrap that I had, and I'm going to use that as the mat for the title instead of that plaid paper. But I do really like the plaid paper, so I am going to leave it there, but I'm just going to layer this over the top. And I'm putting these down so that I have an idea of how big it's going to be. Messing it up because that one went on with liquid glue. Now I'm going to trim it. It's a little bit hard with these chipboard letters, but it works. And then I'm going to notch it into a banner because that's what I do. My favorite go-to technique. I don't know what it is. I just don't like rectangles, apparently. So that fits perfectly, and I'm going to put it right over that paper. Awesome. So now I can start adhering things down that I know I want to use, but of course now I don't know where I want to use it. And I decided that this open space in this photo is better suited for these large circles than that bottom photo, so I'm going to put those there. Now I'm like, alright, I need to add in journaling, and this page is boring. So what else do I need to add in that's not going to be boring? So I look at some older Pink Fresh Studio Boy stuff I have, which I'm getting pretty low on. And I have these as well, but I don't end up using either of those because meh, they don't match. I find some word strips that I like that I end up not using. I do have them on the page for the majority of the video, and then they come off at the very end, and you'll see why. Dropping things, because that's what I do. So like when I add these, they start building up this cluster in a way that I like, but it's still just like nothing going on this page. And it does end up being a simple page, which I'm totally fine with, but I just feel like there's nothing really too dynamic going on. That's the problem I'm having. Also, I need somewhere to journal, and where the heck am I gonna journal on this page? I have that little journaling block over there that I want to use, but where the heck do I put it where that it's gonna be balanced? Up there, it looks off balance. If I had two, then it would work better, but it's just not coming through for me. But I do end up using it and then losing it. So I'm going to add in this little arrow just because. Move these word strips that I don't end up using. Also the problem that I'm having here is that the way that this ended up, it's really off-centered toward the bottom, and it just doesn't look right. Like it's way lower on the bottom than it is on the top. So I think that's part of the reason why I struggled so bad, is because I had so much empty space on the top and none on the bottom. So I decided that's where I'm going to put my journaling, and I even write out the journaling, and I just absolutely loathe it. It just does not look right. It's weird, and it's off-centered, and it's off balance, and nope. It's not making me happy. Like, okay, well, maybe if I add a matching paper strip in over here, like what can I do to make this balanced again? And I got nothing for you. It just never came together right. So I have to kind of go back to the start and figure out how I want to fix this. So I end up turning off the camera, I believe. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm thinking is what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. Oh, okay. So first I add in these enamel dots, and they match, and they're cute. And this is where it all starts going to hell, because this is where I'm like, okay, I want to put these here so that they match. I want to put them right where that label is, and it's not going to happen if I keep that label there. I want the balance. I'm feeling like I need more balance in this spread, so I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can put them on the photos, but no, I didn't like the way that looked. Put a couple of little hearts in these clusters, and maybe that'll be better. But I still wasn't happy with the way that it looked. So I ended up turning off the camera and pulling everything up and centering it, and deciding instead of putting my journaling on that little label, I'm going to print it out and cut it into strips. And my husband calls while I'm doing this, and so I just absent-mindedly glue down the strips while I'm not recording. So I'm kind of, in a second here, I'm going to kind of jump ahead a little bit. This is where I'm like, okay, that's where I want those. Maybe I can put this here. Nope, not going to work for me. So let's pull everything up. I even trim. Like, I'm trying so hard to make fetch happen, and fetch is just not going to happen. Of Quit trying to make fetch happen. It's just not gonna work. Like, where can it go? Maybe there? No, I don't like that either. I'm gonna put down these enamel dots that I want to include so badly. Then I'm gonna turn the camera off, move everything over, and add in the journaling strips. And then the very last second, you'll see me pull off those word strips because it was just too much typed journaling and the word strips. So sorry about skipping forward just a little bit here, but if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. And if you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I am at Tracy M. Reed, and I always have a link in the description box below. All right, thank you.